Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video, and a new balanced druid build has been uncovered. I was observing the ladder, trying to see what other balanced druids were doing, and found one build that I was highly critical of, highly pessimistic of actually working, but decided against my own bullheadedness and personal ego to try it anyways, and it has now got me the highest rating that I have ever gotten with the easiest amount of effort, while also fulfilling the fantasy that I really like on my balanced druid, making me feel like I'm playing the Cataclysm era, partially Mists of Pandaria era style of play on this class. It's been phenomenal, tons of damage, really fun, and was honestly astonished how well it worked. So we're going to be covering that build in this video today. We're going to be going through some gameplay so you know exactly how to be piloting your balanced druid Battlestar Galactic Gundam that is absolutely going to be shredding people while having the most amount of fun ever. So when we take a look at the talents here, which I will have linked in the description down below, you will notice this build is heavily focused around Starfall. This is something that I thought was not going to work whatsoever moving into this patch after the buffs to Star Surge, but it appears to be working even better than it was before, and it has been a huge amount of fun. You will notice that we are choosing to go for Starfall, obviously, onto the right side, and we are running the Star Weaver talent. This is a very core component, and we are also running Denizen of the Dream and Friend of the Fae. There were some considerations I had to alter this build, and I'll keep you guys updated. Of course, follow me on my stream. It's linked in the description down below. I was considering opting to pull some talents from Soul to Forest, Umbral Intensity, and Balance of All Things into Stellar Flare and Waning Twilight to get the extra 8% bonus damage plus the bonus damage from Friend of the Fae. This is something that I'm going to be ongoing testing, but the build that I'm playing right now is the build that I play to get my rating, so I don't want to give you something that I haven't personally tested or coveted for just yet, but that could be a fun option if you are looking to explore beyond this video. And the entire purpose of this video, or the purpose of this build, is to spam Starfalls, get into Eclipse as much as possible, and call down Starburst bombs onto the ground. And you know from videos I've made in the past, this is a really fun build to play. You just kite around, picking up these bombs on the ground, running them into people, and exploding everybody, and generating astral power. But Starburst on your honor talents is a very important component of this. You have to play it. And it's because you'll notice on the normal talents, we're not taking any astral power generation. We don't have Astral Communion. We don't have Fury of Elune. We don't have Elune's Guidance. We have like next to nil astral power generation on our talent trees, but this honor talent Starburst is going to compensate for it, and our 4-piece bonus is going to compensate for it. I would not recommend playing this build if you don't have your 4-piece from your tier set, which I think we'll all be able to get next week, to my understanding. So you may want to hold off on this build until you have it, and it's because your 4-piece is when you enter Eclipse, your next Starfall will be free. So if we don't have Astral Power, it'll be free, and you can see how this chain reacts, because we can get a free Starfall, which has a chance to give us a free Star Surge, which has a chance to give us a free Starfall, and this, can go on infinitely looping. So it's going to be a lot of damage, a lot of fun. Feel like you're proccing a lot of damage. You can focus on keeping dots up. It's a lot less keybind dense because we're not running Astral Communion, we're not running Fury of Elune, and we're not running Stellar Flare. So if you're also looking for a Moonkin build that is not a ton of keybinds, this one is going to be really good. I do recommend you still take Wild Mushroom. It's a lot of damage, but the main component is the snare. Being able to actually slow enemies when they're running away from your Starfall is going to be really important to your success, and still be running Orbital Strike for the lower cooldown on Incarnation. This way you're getting multiple Incarnations off in a game, and Orbital Strike just looks really cool. It's really fun and does a lot of damage up front. We are running Warrior of Elune. Warrior of Elune is just really good with our 2-piece bonus that every time we cast Starfall or Star Surge, our next Starfire is going to hit harder. So we want to try and cast 3 Starfalls or Starfall and Star Surge before you use one of these. But you can also use this to activate your Eclipse when you're not being attacked and you're worried about getting interrupted, but you need to get into an Eclipse because you need that free Starfall to start kind of building up the chain reaction to do a whole bunch of damage. But pretty much these talents do not change if you're going to run this build. On the left side, it's basically the standard balance druid that you're going to come to expect. And again, the build will be linked in the description down below if you want to skip all that. But I think it's important to understand what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish before we jump into the gameplay here, which we are going to now. So in this game, we're fighting a melee cleave, and we're going to get attacked. This is a scenario that I see a lot of balanced druids commonly struggling with the most out of all of them. This is going to be the most common scenario if you're just starting out or mid-range in the ladder, and even at the highest rating in the ladder, is melee cleaves that just run at you and attack you. And this build is really good at performing well in that situation. So we're going to be covering how to perform well, how to avoid all of the damage and stay alive so that we can win as many rounds as possible. So again, the main goal, Balance Druid, keep Moonfire and Sunfire on as many things as possible. It's kind of your engine. This buffs up all of your damage, so we run right in. We need Moonfire and Sunfire onto everything. We're going to use Nature's Vigil very early on and just Orbital Strike immediately. Starfall, 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 Trinket. Just spam Starfall until you proc Starweaver, then Star Surge, then spam Starfall. Get all that damage out. Get all your Wild Mushrooms going. We're going to Wild Charge back and let Nature's Vigil and our damage buffer a lot of the healing. If we keep taking damage, our healers CC'd. Renewal, Heart of the Wild. This is where we're going to dump our Warrior of Elune, Starfire, Starfire, and then weave those in with Starfalls that we just buffed up. And you can see at this point we're just doing monstrous amounts of damage. We're absolutely cutting down everything that's in front of us. And now that we've got distance, they can't stay on us because we're kiting away from them. We're using Wild Mushrooms to keep them snared. We're constantly going into Eclipse to give us free Starfalls, free Star Surge proc, more Starfalls, more Starfalls, more Starfalls. Get these melee TPS off me, get them back to the pillar, keep them pressured, pick up a Starburst, run around the left corner, knock them back into my locks line, watch them all just begin to melt before him, explode that Starburst, reposition, Wild Mushroom snares, drop some Mass Entanglement, Bear Frenzy when we're taking a lot of damage here inside of the barrier, root up the whole team, reposition, take the gateway, kite away, get some distance. Now they're starting to recover, and what do you know? Warlock has managed to kill the priest amid all of that time. So you can see that this is really strong. Just from that video alone. Let's go into another scenario here just so we can really look at like what are the possibilities of this build, and like what types of lobbies can you look to try and perform doing this. So in this game we've got some casters. I feel like this is not the most common lobby, honestly, with Arcane and Frost. So let's pull up something just a little bit different here as soon as we can find one. So here we've got double rogue. Like, this is not the most common composition that you're going to see, but dealing with rogues is really important. So when rogues are not attacking you, you need to be trying to cyclone them when the target that they're attacking is in a kidney shot. That's your main goal. Rogue is the most common class, and here we're fighting double rogue. As soon as you've survived that kidney shot, then you want to switch gears. You want to start thinking about getting the engine going, Starfalls rolling, and as many dots out as possible, while weaving in your instant lunar strikes as much as possible, based on your Starfall and Star Surge cast. Now, obviously, it is 3 of them. That'll buff the next Starfire the most. It's not the end of the world if you don't honestly do it 3 every single time, and sometimes you need to generate Astral Power anyways. So we start the game off in stealth, and we're getting ready to bash one of the rogues as soon as they open. We root beam the Shaman, we bash one of the rogues, we knock them away as much as possible and get some distance. Nature's Vigil, again, first global almost every game. You can use Heart of the Wild as well. I really think it's a good buffer for buffing our heals. We're going to immediately Orbital Strike as many targets as we can and get them all begin rotting. We get Cloak of Shadows immediately off that. We're going to dot third target that's not immune to magic, get our dots up here, and just spam Starfall, Star Surge proc, into more Starfalls, get our dots back up on the targets that have used Cloak of Shadows in the meantime. See a Smoke Bomb being casted, so duck into the Smoke Bomb here, just in case I need to help out my ally with anything. Wild Mushroom for that third dot application and getting the snare on the target, and these instant lunar strikes are feeding us more Astral Power, so we can keep the Starfalls rolling, keep them up, keep them pressured, pick up these Starbursts off the ground. Really important you pay attention to these little blue balls on the ground, run into them and pick them up and try and run them into enemies as much as possible, because when you're limited on Astral Powers, is the only way you're going to be able to. You can see kidney shot on Shaman. I'm casting Cyclone, immediate reaction. I don't get it, but I'm also soaking interrupts from my team while trying to get it. So just really important in those situations. Now we've survived the kidney, back to damage, instant lunar strike, solar beam the healer, proc Eclipse, free Starfall, free Star Surge proc, knock him out of Link, kill the Link, Wild Mushroom spam. Now we got to get back into Eclipse again. So we can use a bash here on a rogue, Wild Mushroom, double Wrath to get into Eclipse. You can cast this on any target to get Eclipse. It can be a totem if they're line of sighting, because getting an Eclipse gives you that free Starfall, free Star Surge, pick up a Starburst, run that bad boy into the enemy team, and you can see we're pretty close to getting a triple kill at this point, as the Subtlety Rogue is just going to come completely flatline right towards the end of that round. So you can see the importance of getting into the Eclipse. You just want to activate it on anything you can. So if all of them are behind the pillar, but you see a totem or pet, activate your Eclipse off of the pet by casting Wrath, and then wrap around in their line, use that free Starfall to try and chain react a lot of procs. So again, the benefits of this spec is that it's not very keybind dense. It will overwhelm people. It's relatively easy in comparison to the Star Surge build that I've been talking about before, with a lot less keybinds, a lot less kind of like specific sequencing that you need to execute. Just really important to use Nature's Vigil early on and cast Cyclones when enemies are or when your allies are stunned. Heart of the Wild is great for healing support, and then we obviously have Renewal as well to be able to survive in the future. But I just wanted to give you guys this video, show you what is possible with Balanced Druid, because I was pretty hard-headed about this build being viable at this patch, but it has been a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying it, and I'm definitely going to be playing it more, and I wanted to share it with you and my experience with it. So thank you very much for watching the video, and I will catch you in the next one.